Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, by popular demand, I have Dwyght Mack with Mack's Moving Training coming back to us. How you doing today, Dwight?
I'm good. I'm good. And yourself?
Good, good, good. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things, industry, what we're seeing in general. Obviously, we're getting here at the tail end of summer. So what is your feeling, Dwight?
From what I've been hearing, people are definitely still struggling with their schedules not being booked up. So it could be numerous things between, their marketing approach or just their sales operations and as a general. I know year over year people struggle, but it's summer months. It's for you not to have a book schedule, almost unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And one of the issues that I think that's come up. So when you're dealing with regular lead providers, we know that wintertime junk is generally 30 to 40%. We're used to dealing with that. And summer it picks up and you have a lot less of that. Well, what I feel and what I hear happening this year, this summer specifically, is that the junk percentage didn't go down. It still stayed at about 30, 40%.
That definitely makes sense. And these lead providers are only getting more and more expensive
And
because
hungrier and hungrier. And of course,
Mhm.
they want to make their money. They don't care if you do at the end of the day.
I think just having a process for how you handle your bad leads has to be in place. Prime example, hey, even when my company was using your services, Yuri, it was almost like if we knew that a lead was bad, we would, set that lead aside and we would process lead credit probably like once a week or so like that to try to recoup whatever we could recoup.
Right. And then unfortunately, this is becoming, at least right now, it looks like it's becoming a year-round process. That's one extra thing that you have to do when, especially when you're trying to keep yourself busy. And that's, one extra thing that you're doing on top of everything else. And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Yeah, I think the postcard companies are starting to get a little bit more dialed in on getting phone numbers from these potential clients
Mhm.
instead of just sending out postcards and hoping and praying that that person calls you back.
Yeah, and I think the postcard company, I mean, that's the best way to go. I mean, honestly, those are the best leads in the market, in my opinion.
It's just, I don't know. I've always felt, and I've been back and forth about it. It's just like I could send over 2,000 postcards, and if you get 5% or even 3%, you're talking about maybe 100, maybe even less than that, customers hopefully reaching back out to you. And maybe, like I said, way less than that.
But you got to think of the type of customer. So when you're talking regular leads, when you're competing with three, four, five moving companies,
Mhm.
right? Those leads, you're getting lots of leads that are one bedrooms and studios and people that want to spend $200, right? But if you're getting something like postcards, to me, that, like I said, to me, it's the greatest one because there you can limit how big or how expensive you want the house to be. So you may
Mhm.
only be getting like for one place that I'm working with, they're only getting like basically 3 to 5 bedroom houses. If you're spending, let's say, roughly about $3 to $5,000 on postcards every couple of months or so, right? Then I mean, I can tell you out of those leads, I booked a long distance job that was over $35,000 by itself. So there goes that company's whole budget for
Mhm.
postcards for the entire year.
Oh yeah, it only like you said, it only takes one to two clients that pretty much fulfill that spend. It's just one, you got to make sure you're dialed in on how your
Mhm.
postcard looks. You
Oh yeah.
can't have a horrible postcard and think that, oh well, I'm sending out 3,000. Hopefully I get those two customers that'll just wipe that whole budget away. No, because your postcard look like crap.
Yeah.
You could be sending out 4,000 and not get one.
Right. And you got to remember that these postcards are going to people. Things change. Maybe people decide not to move this year. Maybe they're going to move next year. So they may never call you, but they may hang on to your postcard till when they do next year. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that goes about that about getting your marketing that is part of your marketing with the postcard stuff. So I think it serves multiple purposes, not just booking these jobs off of these leads and whether they pay off the budget that you're spending on postcards. But so far from what I've seen, it definitely pays off what you're spending.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm not going to mention any company name in particular, but there was a company that was out that came about probably about a year or 2 years ago where they were actually contacting you, connecting you with realtors as well with the postcards and stuff like that. It had a whole, system behind everything. I like to think that because of their marketing strategies, they kind of just fell flat off the map, and they're probably still around, but it's all a word of mouth at this point. And now you start to see all these new postcard companies that are doing handwritten letters and stuff like that. And,
Mhm.
USA Home Listings, I'll mention because Greg is a great guy.
No, he
So,
is, and I have a lot of companies that use his service, and I've certainly, because I think it works. Whatever he's doing, it works versus some of the people that I know that do their own postcards. Whatever Greg is doing is getting better results than people that I know that are doing their own postcards. Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
yeah, so it's just like, everybody is now, kind of mimicking, in a sense, that whole realtor connection,
Mm-hmm.
which is a brilliant idea. But the original company who started this, it's just like, geez, where did you go? Like, what happened to your marketing? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, and I know that some people just want that word of mouth where they're like, oh, well, if we do a great job, people will talk about us, but it's not enough at times.
Right, right, absolutely. And the other thing too is that I think one thing that I always thought about it, I'm not the tech guy that's going to put that stuff together because that's not my specialty, that's not my field of expertise. But I think that it would be great if somebody could, especially with today's market, especially with the housing, especially with the things we've been seeing with economy, if somebody could get the same type of thing going as USA Home Listings, except focusing on high level rentals. Like when people are renting out
Mm,
condos, renting out homes, townhouses, when you're talking about, like, for example, you look at something, city like in New York City, where you have these flats in Manhattan that are upper level flats that people could be paying, who knows, $100,000 a month for, you
hmm
know? So if you can get on being able to reach those type of people, that's a lot of money to be hit right there. And those people can afford it because
Yeah.
realistically, what's happening right now with the housing market? Look, I've been looking for a bigger house for past couple of years. And yeah, I missed on at least one that I wish I had. But that's besides the point. I think that, like, if you look at it today you got high interest rates. So instead of paying 3.5% that I'm paying right now, for example, on my townhouse, my percentage would be like 6 or 7, and I have great credit, right? But the other part too, on top of that, is the fact that the house that right now is on the market for 600, 700,000 in reality costs 500,000. So we're back in that situation, back to 2010 again, where you had all these people that bought their houses on the bubble, and then a year later, 2 years later, that bubble burst and they couldn't sell their house. They couldn't get their money back. And a lot of people ended up in foreclosures and everything else, so having fun with the banks. Right. So I think a lot of people are in the same position as me, where we're all taking the wait and see approach and waiting for the interest rates to come down to earth, the housing market to come down to earth, and being able to buy things for what they're actually worth, not the inflated rate. Right. So what a lot of people that have that money do is they're getting these high level rentals because A, they're not locked into a mortgage. B, they're not locked into a percentage. So they're able to do that. And that doesn't mean that they don't have the money to buy the house. They do. They're just playing it smart.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I know that there is the Postal Service actually has a service called Every Door Direct Mail, where basically you can actually target a specific region or city in your market and say, hey, you know what? I want to send blindly X amount of postcards in that area. So you don't need addresses. You just need the zip code and the city that you want to send those postcards to. And the post office will work with you in regards to your bulk mailing rate.
But that's still basically writing out a blank check to a degree.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I think that's probably the closest to what you were mentioning about, the high-end rentals or whatever the case is. Because if you could target a high-end area that you know known to be a high-end area.
Yeah, I suppose that would be a way to do it that way because if you target a specific area, because otherwise anybody and everybody's going to get them, and that's not what you want because that's going to
Mhm.
cost you a pretty penny, and a lot of those people are not your clients, and they're never going to be because they're not going to spend what you deem your service to be worth, whether it's market or how long you've been in business or just in general what you want to spend.
hmm So yeah, that's one way of doing it. But I would say if you send those type of postcards out, definitely use like a coupon or a coupon code
Oh yeah.
so that it's trackable.
Yeah, you definitely need to be able to track it because if you pick up the area and that area is just killing you, you need and you want your if then this is the approach that you're taking, you want to make sure you don't target that area again.
Other than that, what have you been seeing, Yuri, on the sales side of things for people?
I mean, on the sales side of things, what I'm running into a lot, and it's whether it's I'm talking to my clients or people that are potentially my clients, is that what you as a moving company owner need to ask yourself is what's more important to you? The amount of profit that you make per job or the amount of jobs on your calendar because the two are not created equal because ultimately what we like let's take for example and I've talked on this on a couple other previous episodes and once again I'm not trying to give a promo to a piece of cake, that's not my goal, but I like what they've done with their marketing and I give whoever came up with the some of the things that they've done, I give kudos to them because it's great, it's amazing, I'm impressed by it. But this is exactly what they were doing, what they're still doing by knocking a lot of companies out of business is that instead of focusing and trying to make $200 profit per truck on the road, they took that down to whatever number they took it down to. Let's say $75 per truck per profit. But the thing is this, if you're a piece of cake and those guys have something like 200 trucks on the road, if they have 200 trucks out every single day and you multiply that by $75, you're making like what, 15K profit every single day after all your
hmm
expenses.
hmm
They're a profitable company. Some people think that they're related to the mob or whatever. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I mean, you guys have seen some commercials that are out there that Dumbo has put out. Of course, they're big competitors with Piece of Cake. So I found some of that stuff a little amusing, with the green Dumbo truck riding over a pink cake. Some of you guys have probably seen it. Overall, that's what we're dealing with, is that we're dealing with how you want to approach your business. Ultimately, in order for us to be successful, whether you're a moving company or a call center, you need to have good people working for you. To have good people working for you, they need to have work. If they're not
hmm
working, they're not making money. If they're not making money, they're leaving and they're going to go somewhere where they can make money, right? So if you don't have enough trucks out, I mean, if your competition is bringing down prices, it doesn't really matter. If you're getting gutted, I mean, 5, $10 an hour is not going to kill you, right? But if you have competition that's really going down because they feel that they have to, I mean, you got to look at those things. You can sell value all day long, and that's something that I certainly preach to my salespeople. I want to sell value, not the price, not the dollar per se. I want to sell the value, what it is that they're getting, right? But it's very hard to sell value when you're dealing with the market that we're dealing with today.
hmm
Value is not valued as much as it used to be.
No,
because
you're
people
right.
don't have as much money to go around.
You're definitely right about that. And I would say that used to be that was the challenge that I faced as well, where it was like, okay, hey, you charge 150 an hour. Where now maybe we get 30 more clients a month, we get 60 clients in a month, hypothetically speaking. Where at versus are we fighting to get those 60 clients at 150? What is the risk involved with getting 60 clients? Because now you expose yourself to more risk if you guys myself on the job, or do you go for you charge $200 and you get 30 clients from them and you deal with less risk, but ultimately those 30 jobs make up for those 60 jobs revenue wise.
Right.
So it depends. Like you said, do you want to keep you guys busy, deal
Right.
with assume risk, or do you want to make the profit sooner than later?
Right. And not have the guys which will not ultimately, frankly, will knock you out of business. Right. I mean, look, let's talk about the most recent news. We all at this point have heard that OnQ is out. I've talked or I already had some calls from companies that were using OnQ. A lot of people are saying, well, but people are asking me not involved in this, well, why are they out? Sales in general, it's a tough industry. Sales for moving companies is a tough industry. I think a lot of it has to do with risk factors. Like, for example, and I've said this on my podcast a lot, I don't work with companies that are not licensed, and I don't work with companies that have bad ratings, bad reviews, and don't care about their product, don't care about their clients. And one of the reasons for that is because those clients, they're a risk. They're a risk that they're not going to pay their bill. They're a risk that they're going to do something stupid that's going to create something really bad in their area where everybody's going to say no, 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 and they're going to get even more bad reviews than they already have out there. They're a risk. So as a business running a call center, um, those are the risks that frankly we can't afford because the profit margins for us are a lot slimmer than people may think. So because we gotta do what we gotta do with our people, we gotta train and we gotta spend that stuff. But yeah, our profit margins are lower than a lot of people realize.
Yeah. No, and like I said, with everything going up nowadays, price wise around you, it's just like, how could you not adjust? So I
Mhm.
could see that, it's just like, I'm just going to make up a figure, but it's just like a company charging 14% commission or whatever the case is, or not even 14, but something around that marker, because again, everything is going up. So paying salaries is
Hmm.
going up.
Hmm.
So that whole same 5 or 6% people were paying to their employees is like, no, that's not going to work. We
Hmm.
gotta find some way to raise it where we don't necessarily hurt ourselves as a company. Because hey, what are we here for? We're here to be in business to make money.
Hmm.
And as a mover, I already knew that the profit margins was already between around 47%.
Right, but here's the thing, and this is what I've always said to my clients. If you guys think that my commission percentages are higher than the number that you had in your head, right? You got to think of multiple things. First of all, just like the companies that I choose to work with, I do the same thing with the people that I hire. So I hire people that genuinely care about the people that they're talking to and want them to have a great experience. So I think that that's a very important part. You got to have the right people. You can't just hire anybody off the street. Look, we're moving sales professionals. As far as our competition goes, we're probably, I mean, probably mid-range. I don't know if we're the same size-wise. I don't think that anybody that's left. I mean, right now, I'll be straightforward. Right now, you have us, which at this point we are the most experienced call center for moving companies in United States. After now with OnQ being gone, because OnQ opened up 10 months before we did. And then you have Move It Pro. By then we were already in business. And then you have MoveBees. By then we were in business and MoveBees used to be our clients, right? Or rather, Tim Crop used to be our client. But anyway, that's not my point. The point is you want to make sure that the work is done correctly. So when you're looking to hire salespeople, this is what you got to look at. First of all, you got to spend time training them. that time is worth money, your money, right? That you could be spending that time doing something else, promoting your business, right? You got to spend time looking for those people that you're going to hire. You're paying money for Indeed. You're paying money for Monster. You're paying money for some of the other websites that are out there, ZipRecruiter, right? You're spending that money. Then you hire that person. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, and either the person says, you know what, this is not for me, or you're like, man, this person's really not getting it, right? So all that stuff, put that in dollar figures for a second and see how much that's costing you versus coming to us where we know what we're doing. This is the only thing that we do. And you don't have to teach us how to sell. You don't have to teach us how to sell in this industry. I mean, I myself, I've been in this industry for over 20 years at this point. Between sales and moving, that's all I've been doing is sales and moving the past 20 years back and forth. So I know the industry. I know what you guys face as a moving company owners that are out there, right? So when you hire us, yes, initially the commission percentage may seem like it's why, why is it this high? But if you look at the amount of money that you would have spent on everything that I mentioned, plus you have those people working for you directly, you got to pay them for vacation days. You got to give them bonuses. You got to do all this stuff. So if you put that in dollar signs versus straight commission that you're paying us, and those numbers, they're not that different, except you're going to get better results.
Gotcha, gotcha. So what do you think is it what do you think about like I've heard we was talking about it on my podcast earlier or so like that. And what do you think about flat rate commission for sales reps?
Flat rate commission? You mean for the sales rep specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you when I started in this industry, when I started doing moving back in 2003, I made $8 an hour working for a Californian company. And I think I made something like, I want to say probably like $10 per sale or something like that.
Mm,
But this was 2003. And I was very good at what I did. And this was a hot time. A lot of people were moving. This was California. I was booking between 10 and 20 jobs every single day that I worked, which is actually why I ended up getting fired because I made, if I had a 20 job day, I made $200 plus my, $8 an hour. So like I made
hmm
$264 a day. So the owner of the company was being cheap and he fired me because he felt like he paid me too much money, right? But these days, some people may agree to this, but honestly, for professional salespeople, that would be a hard sell.
No, that makes
As a
sense.
professional salesperson, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, but I'm very good at what I do. And I've been very good at what I do ever since I got into sales. Some people just have a knack for it. And I certainly search for people like that. I feel like I have a lot of people like that working for me already. So, and I'm searching for more. I just hired a bunch of new guys that I'm very excited about because I think they're gonna do exactly what I'm expecting them to do. So it's really exciting for me. But I think that professional salespeople are very hard to find. A lot of people make an assumption that a customer service person is going to be able to book and sell. That's not always true. Some people have a customer service mentality, and their number one priority is not going to be, honestly, your company. It's going to
Hmm
be helping that customer. It's going to be about them sounding good to the customer and feeling like they're doing, but there's going to be situations where the customer is not always right. Things happen. People
See, I think
lie. They don't provide you with full inventory. They don't tell you about everything that they need. And then on the day of the move, they tell the movers that, oh, Yuri told me that all the packing materials were included. And I never said anything of the sort. So
mhm.
it's, you get that stuff all the time. We all know, we all heard it.
See, I think that's why, two podcasters can't be on the same podcast because we start interviewing each other. But nevertheless, do you feel there is a negative stigma to the word sales? Because I feel like with the moving industry, it's not necessarily selling, it's convincing.
Well, let's put it this way. For me, I've always felt that selling a service is much easier than selling a product. Everybody we're talking to ultimately wants to move, whether they choose the company that we're calling on behalf of, or whether they choose a competitor, they're still going to, or whether they choose to do a self move, they're still going to move more than likely. So this is much easier. So selling, I mean, I think the word sell in this particular context encompasses a lot of things. So we're talking about convincing somebody, we're talking about showing them the value, we're talking about handling objections that were given, like, oh, why are you so expensive? Or, oh, I heard that this could be done in 2 hours, or whatever the case may be, right? But I think for me, coming from the industry that I originally came from, which was fundraising, a lot of the things that I took from that working in a call center environment, years before I got into moving, I've used everything that I've learned there and I've been able to be very successful with it. So for me, it's still sales.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I used to think that it was kind of like holding a customer's hand. If you gave them the right information, you asked them the right questions, it was a matter of, okay, you laid it all out for them. Okay, do you want to go with us at this point? Kind of thing. And you wouldn't even ask it that way, but you kind of be
Mhm.
more direct about that.
Well, I
But
would say the same thing that the person that was your sale that did sales for you when you were with us, Paul, they used to say, and I always stick to that because I think it's hilarious. So he's always said, you gotta just hug the person until the credit card falls out.
okay. I now, that was just I don't know if that, depending on who takes that the right way, but
Yeah,
it
you
makes
gotta take
sense.
it the right way. So this is meant not this is not meant as we're trying to swindle somebody out of their money. It's meant that we're actually trying to provide you with good service, but good service costs money. You get what you pay for in this industry, just like in many others. So if you're not willing to pay top dollar for top service, you're not gonna get top service.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I get that. I definitely get that. But now the way things are going, let's just say I'm going to switch it to the food industry.
Hmm.
Um, you go and get KFC or whatever the case is, and you pay that top money for nothing because they charge you so much for very little nowadays. And I think that's why people are trying to avoid eating out, but you almost can't help it.
It's funny that you say that because a few episodes back, if you guys look through everything that we've put out, I had a marketing guy that I know well that I actually play hockey with, who is a marketing and a guy for Popeyes. So that was one of the things that we were talking about. So we were talking about chicken and we were talking about food service and different approaches as far as marketing goes. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it. Some people have specific marketing that they do that really attracts people. Other people have maybe they don't do as much marketing, but their product is supreme, right? So, I mean, ultimately, I think you got to do something different all the time to separate yourself from your competition, whether it's just an overall amazing product, like better chicken, right? For example, if we're talking KFC versus Popeyes, or better sauce or whatever, or it's letting your customer feel like they're part of something, even though they're paying you to move them. Like I've mentioned Move for Hunger multiple times before on this podcast, and I'll mention it again. Uh, Take advantage, check out what charities are located in the area of your operation. Team up with them. Make people, on top of the fact that they're paying to be moved, make them feel good about choosing you.
Hmm.
Tell them that by choosing us, we're partnered up with company ABC. And because you're choosing us, a portion of your fee will go towards this company that's helping make this world a better place. People like that. It's catchy and you can do those type of things. But I think you got to take a step to do something like that.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, y'all. So I don't know, Yuri, did you have any other questions for me?
I think no, I think we had a good thing going. We were talking for a while. Obviously, I'm gonna run into you again at some event. I don't know what event it is because obviously Massaro is out at this point. You got, the Titans retreat. I haven't made it there yet, but I might at some point.
Yeah, you
But
gotta get a booth set up.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Their booths are expensive. I don't know. I'm still trying to make it the right way. It's not about being cheap. It's just, I'm still trying to grow things, and we're definitely in that step. And like I said, I mean, on is out. Obviously, we have less players to the same table now, so we'll see how that works and what that brings to all of us. There's three of us now. There were four, now there's three, so we'll see how that goes. But um, no, I mean, I'm looking forward to reaching out to everybody. Everybody that knows me know I'm readily available to all of you. So you know that I'm available, I'm out there. I'm always open to give people advice and help out with things and whatnot. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm always interested to see what else is out there. I mean, I'm flying to UK in November, so it's going to be interesting. So for
That's
those
awesome.
so those of you guys that are part of the removal industry that are listening to this podcast, Yuri and Moving Sales Professionals are coming in November. I'm gonna be in Birmingham. So I will see you guys there. I will see you there. I'll be there at one of the removal company events. So I will see you guys there. I will be there.
That is awesome.
But once again, Dwight, thank you very much for joining us. And like I always say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much. Check out Movie Marketing Blueprint and everything else that the Dwight is doing with his Max Moving training. We'll have the links for you. So like, subscribe, support. Thank you very much for joining us.